Hi there. Today is Saturday, December 31st, 2022, the absolute end of the year, which makes this the week 52 Create Brilliance weekly update with your hostess Jennifer Vanderbeek of Scraps of Life. Hi, how you doing? How have your holidays been? I am going to start off by addressing all the chaos that I brought to you in last week's video. Okay, illness update. Todd and I are both doing well. It takes a couple weeks to at least, even for the mild cases, which I'm pretty sure, I feel like we both had fairly mild cases of COVID. Yeah, we were like bad sick for only like a day, and then the rest of it has been, probably flu-ish kind of things. We had different symptoms. We had different challenges and whatever. Like I was super dizzy at the worst of it. He had none of that. I had horrible body aches. Yeah, and him not really. He had headaches and stuff like that. We're both tired, but otherwise we're fine. And I was able to go back to work this week, and well, Monday only. I didn't make it quite 2 hours before they're like, you know what, it's slow. Why don't you go home and rest? And then I came home and slept for 5 more hours. Speaking of Monday, on Monday, Todd was able to fix the plumbing issue that we were having that prevented hot water from getting to the shower upstairs. Yeah, so that was a good thing. I slept mostly through it. Again, I had come home and I ended up sacking out on my little sofa here in the office, and yeah, I woke up a couple times to like power tools and whatnot. Um, but by the end of Monday, we were able to take hot showers, and that was a good thing. Not even just from like, okay, we needed showers. No, it was we were clean, but it just felt really good because it was freaking cold. Now, speaking of the cold, the heater issue took a little bit longer to diagnose. So as the week progressed and it got less Arctic cold, I mean, relatively Arctic for us. I know there were places up north dealing with feet of snow and blizzard conditions, and I'm not discounting that at all. At the same time, I can be cognizant of the fact that it was really freaking cold for an area that does not usually see this kind of weather. It was like winter all at once. Whoosh. So yeah, that's the way it was. But once we got through the worst of it, and having hot showers to be able to, thaw out by was helpful. Then the furnace not really, working so well wasn't a big deal. Good thing. We were also kind of lucky, it turns out, that the what we thought was a blower motor not sending the heated air into the vents, into the ductwork through into the house, um, might have saved our lives. Ah. So it turns out Wednesday, when the repairman was able to come out, he was here when I got home from work, and I got out of my car and went to grab my backpack, and I overhear from the other side of the house, "Oh, this or no, this really isn't good," or "This is kind of bad," or something like that. And I'm like, "Ooh." That was not the reassuring, "Oh yeah, no, we can get this fixed for you, no problem." So, I mean, I do not insert myself into the conversation. There's no reason to. Um, I go inside, I make myself a sandwich because I had not eaten lunch yet. I sit down in the dining room to eat, and the AC unit or the furnace in question is right outside that wall, so I can kind of hear some of the conversation, but not everything. And I hear Todd give a big sigh at some point, and I'm like, "Oh, this is still not sounding good." And then I hear a snatch of conversation, which was the repairman saying, "Okay, yeah, I'll call you when I get some numbers." And I'm like, "Ooh, this is requiring a quote. This is really not good." So, yeah. Um, It turns out that the furnace itself had gone kaput. And what I didn't realize, I mean, I guess I knew it, but I wasn't really cognizant. It wasn't forefront of my brain. I was not thinking about the fact that it was gas heat. You see where I'm going with this. Apparently, thankfully, it was not the gas line that was at fault. It was the furnace. And the furnace can be turned off separate from the air conditioner. So we still have, air conditioning, which is a good thing because now it's almost 70 degrees outside and it's a little bit muggy. And so, yeah, that's a good thing to have the AC able to run. It's been a weird week, y'all. Um, yeah, no. Had the furnace, been blowing the warm air into the house, it would have been blowing carbon monoxide with it. And yeah, we could have been in a world of hurt or worse. And that's super scary to think about. But I'm trying not to think about that part and just be grateful that, oh, okay, while it sucks that we now have to replace the downstairs unit, which we knew we were going to have to do. We knew that that was going to be something we were going to have to tackle when we bought the house. When we had to replace the upstairs unit, we're like, well, we're probably we're going to have to do the downstairs before too long too. Um, and, Todd and I had this conversation and he's like, yeah, I was just hoping to get another year out of it, maybe. Um, and I'm like, I think you've been saying that for a year. I think you got your year. Um, so yeah, now we're just waiting for a unit to come in. And so maybe we'll have a new unit like in a week. In the meantime, the weather has warmed up a bit. It's supposed to stay warm for the next week or so, I think. And so we're good. I mean, we're as good as we can be, all things considered. Um, so yeah, that was last week's chaos. Yeah, I was just checking. Yeah, we've got until like the end of this first week of 2023 um to before things start getting really cold again at night. And and even then, the upstairs heat works, so that's where we are usually overnight and at the coldest point, so it's fine. So, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Of course, a lot of people, this is the end of the year, so a lot of people are doing like recaps of everything they did this year. Y'all, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't think I kept a very good track of everything I did this year. I know there was a lot more knitting and crochet, mostly crochet, because when I started working at Fuzzy Goat in April, I wanted more items. I wanted more things in my wardrobe that I could wear to work. So yeah, there were some things like that. But I can't even tell you what I finished when. Because I again didn't keep really good track of that. I'm gonna do better on that this year. But I did close out a lot of like works in progress that had just been waiting. So that was a good thing. I got one book put out, well, one novel and one coloring book put out. I did promo for neither of them. There were reasons, but yeah. I created my Printful store, which allows me to create, stickers and other merchandise. We're going to be seeing more of that this year, but it's not going to be my primary focus, but there will be more. Stay tuned. I recorded 52 weekly videos, even while traveling, even when sick, even whenever. I created another entire year of content. I'm really happy about that. I'm like, yeah, I stuck with it. Awesome. Now, there are reasons why I did not get as much. Oh, yeah. And I like wrote and mostly prepared another book for publication. I still have to finish it. I still have to get it to the beta readers and I still have to actually publish it. That's going to be a 2023 thing. Am I a little disappointed in myself that I did not get book 4 out into the world this fall, or even at the end of summer? Yeah, I am a little bummed about that. But I'm also trying to give myself some grace because I now understand better what happened. I know that I lost my momentum. I know that I fell back into some not so great, um, like mental health coping strategies or lack thereof. Um, was I ultimately, how do I say this correctly? Um, did I do any damage to myself? No, no, it wasn't like that. I just, I let that stop me. Without realizing, I thought I dealt with things better than I had. And that's on not being in therapy for this past year, unlike the year prior. And the reason why I wasn't in therapy was the reason why I was struggling a little bit. And I was still coming to terms with that. But, that's been released. I'm really hopeful that that's not going to continue to be a sticking point. Um, and then the other thing is that I let myself get complacent. And that's just on oops. That's just on the situation in general. That is honestly what happened. I let myself get too comfortable without having hard deadlines. I let myself get too comfortable feeling like I was doing a lot when I wasn't really. The lighting is really weird. Let's see if we can kind of fix that. I don't know if that did any better or not, but we're gonna go with it. Um, yeah, and part of that had to do with having all this time and very little pressure, and that is an unfortunate thing. A lot of us deal with that. It's like, we're great under we're great under pressure. We can perform under pressure. We can perform when stressed. We can step up. We can do what has to be done. That's not always healthy. But that is a truth thing. That is something that I have dealt with time and time again. And I was a little lax with the deadlines and the must do's and the accountability for this year. Yeah, I was constantly moving forward, but I was doing it sometimes at a snail's pace and not checking myself on that. And so that's something I have to be better about this year. And that brings us to our final for the year, our week 52 thought on brilliance. Brilliance is busy. Now, that's a loaded statement, and I get that. Let me explain. When I say brilliance is busy, I am not talking about the difference between being busy versus lazy or engaging in leisure activities. We're not going there. That is not part of this discussion. When I say brilliance is busy, I am not talking about that whole concept of the Protestant work ethic, where, somehow it became righteous to always be toiling, because that leads into that other thing that we're not touching right now, because that is not where we want to get hung up. That's not the lesson we're taking from this. When I say that brilliance is busy, I'm also not really talking about the 80-20 rule, but I guess I kind of am. There used to be a saying I heard a lot, which was, if you want something done, ask a busy person. And that's true, but it's dangerous, because usually that busy person was the person doing like that whole 80% of the work um in the group, among your friend group, among whoever. It's like 80% of the people do, or 20% of the people do 80% of the work. 80% of your success comes from 20% of your input, and all this. There's that 80-20 thing. It feels very like Mobius strip to me, because it almost feels like those statements are at cross purposes to each other, and yet they're not incorrect either. It's very strange. Very strange. But the point is, when I say brilliance is busy, I'm talking about momentum. I mentioned it earlier. I lost my momentum for this year. It slowed way down. It didn't stop completely, but it slowed down. And sometimes it was creeping along like a snail. And we are not talking about the racing snails. We are talking about. Yeah. Don't ask me what that was. I don't know. It sounded like a good idea in my brain. Anyway, um, and the reason why I bring this up as our final thought on brilliance, and brilliance is so many things to so many people, so many small moments in time. But when it comes to brilliance and busyness, not business, but the action of being busy. I remember people would ask me, "Oh, how are you? How have you been doing?" I'm like, "I'm so busy." But I had a smile on my face, and it wasn't because I felt like I was righteous, but I was excited about all the things that I had going on. I have missed that excitement, y'all. But I got it back a little bit these last couple of days. And I was like, "Oh, this kind of feels like old me. This feels like a glimpse of the me like 15, 20 years ago." Is that long? Uh, at least 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. Let's see. Yeah, could be. Where all sorts of things were possible. Anything was possible. And I knew that I had the ability to do that. I'm like, where did this come from? Where has it been? So let me explain. So all this week I worked. One of our coworkers, one of our team members was out of town, went out of town on Tuesday to visit family. And so I was asked, it was asked of me whether or not I would be willing to take on some additional shifts. And I'm like, sure. Not only not only did I understand from a team standpoint, and yes, I do say team, and it's a retail environment, but and I know that that's there's a big discussion about that, but no, I really do feel like we are a team, and we do what needs to be done, and we do it gratefully because we enjoy being there. This would not be the case if it was just me selling shirts or me working at some big box somewhere. I I can almost guarantee that. I would try, but it would not be the same. No, this is a place I love to be. And so being given the opportunity to pick up some shifts the week between Christmas and New Year, sure, that's a bad week to try and get stuff done. So it's not like it was cutting into my creativity time. It's not like I was planning on getting a whole bunch done this week. So it's fine. Not only that, but I'm going to be out of town for part of January. I'm going to be going to out to Arizona for a little over a week. I know, shorter trip this time, but there's reasons. Trying to find that sweet spot of everything, right? So yeah, I'm going for a little over a week towards the end of the month. Well, I'm gonna lose some shifts then. So I'm like, hey, if I can go ahead and kind of like bank some early, that's gonna help. That's not going to be a bad thing. I didn't even think of some of the other things, like, we do get, there's bonuses and stuff if we, if the store does well in a month, stuff, Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, but then my boss reminded me. I'm like, oh, well, even better, it's fine. But no, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking, yeah, great. I get to pick up some shifts. I get a little bit, of extra work in. I get to be there over Christmas, which is, or, that week between Christmas and New Year's, which is going to be a fun time anyway. We're starting the big sale. We, of course, need extra hands on deck for that. I'm like, yeah, no, this is great. I'm in. The fact that I'd been sick just before and then missed some shifts, well, this helps kind of make up for that too. Um, it all worked out fine. And so I was working, like say 4-hour shifts. It's not like these are long shifts. They're just, right there in the middle of the day. And still have plenty of time to come home and do the things that I want to do. Well, Wednesday and Friday I normally live stream on Twitch. Usually art, but occasionally other things. So Wednesday I came home and I wasn't sure if I was going to stream or not because I got off. I was supposed to get off about 3, and 3 is when my stream usually starts. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll stream at 3:30, and I ended up streaming then. And I had so much momentum built up from a good day at work that I was ready to really dig into my creative projects. And so I ended up plotting out during that stream, and then for the rest of the evening I was researching and plotting out and doing the practical bits, ordering what I needed supply wise to to kickstart the renewal of a project that I've had on the back burner for years. For those of you who've followed my blogs for a long time, you might remember 50 Shots of America, the cocktail series for each state in the union. Yeah, that's coming back. And I'm really excited about like the vision I have of it in my head and the fact that I think I can actually make that a reality and all the different ways this one project can potentially work. I'm like, yeah, no, this is going to be some good stuff. So yeah, I was like I mean, and it just kind of, yeah, I'd been planning on doing it eventually. I thought about doing it last year, but or this year, 2022. But yeah, we knew we know what happened then. We're just not going to talk about that because it's done. We've dealt. But the direction I've decided to go, which you will hear more about in the coming months, you will see evidence of in the coming weeks. I'm really excited for, and it's better than the other ideas I had. It means more work, a bit, but then again, maybe not. It's kind of one of those you never know until you do it, and it sounds like it could be more work, but it's probably no more work than if I'd done it the way I'd planned, or any of the half a dozen ways I thought about doing it. So yeah, so there's that. And then Thursday I came home, and have you noticed the area behind me at all? If you look back at my other videos, you probably saw that there was kind of like a wall, the back of some organizers and stuff right here, and this cork board was not there, and so on and so forth. Yeah, no, I did some rearranging, and I made it so that not only do I have my desk here, but I have my work table here so that I can do a nice little pivot and and have a great workspace. Now, is the rest of my office absolute chaos? Sure. If you follow me on TikTok, Scraps of Life, just like here, then yeah, you may have seen, or you can go and watch the video I then did showing off this area and then showing the rest of my home studio. It's chaos. It's fine. I will get to that as needed. But this right here, this makes me happy. And I can't really see the rest of the stuff when I'm sitting here at my desk, either behind my monitors or focusing on this work surface. So yeah, life's good. But yeah, so that was Thursday. And then Friday, okay, by Friday I was a little bit tired, and I was kind of recognizing that Wednesday and Thursday may have been a soupçon of mania. Yeah. But it happens. You ride the waves when they come, okay? Um, Friday I had slowed down a little bit. I'd kind of come back to a center, but I still managed to stream for like an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, hour 20 minutes, somewhere in there. I didn't do an art stream because I was kind of in a limbo spot with the projects, but that's fine too. Oh, also one of the things I did the other night was I did a bunch of piecing for my next sculpture. I mean, I am getting things done. I am actually moving forward, and we're not even to the new year yet. Which is probably a lesson in and of itself. You know, don't wait until the you don't have to put it off. If you're excited, go ahead and get started. Take the momentum where you can. But all of this to say, kind of, which has kind of been a wrap up of the year and looking forward and all that cliche stuff that we do this time of year. All that to say, I know that the momentum I built while I was at the shop carried me home to the point where I wanted to keep it up. I wanted to keep going to a certain extent, in one way, shape, or form. And I remember when, in, say, in my 20s and 30s, 40s is when I started to slow down. But my 20s and 30s, I was working full time and I had so many other things going on. We'd call them side hustles now. Um, if only I had been able to channel that energy a little bit better. If only I knew that I was ADHD and had those and had a better understanding of my brain and the coping mechanisms and how to work with my brain. Oh man, that would have been amazing. I'm not mad, but I can look back and say, wow, yeah, that could have been even better. Imagine how things could have been if I knew then what I know now. And no, I'm not going to dive into half a dozen, there was one point where I was doing updating 2 web comics multiple times a week plus 3 other blogs every week. That's not happening right now. I do not want to dive into things like that again. No, 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 no. But I can see I can see where some of that is coming back to me. And even if I only get it a little bit here and a little bit there, if I can hold on to and be cognizant of, hey, this energy is not always here. How do we keep it flowing? Maybe not full bore, because that's going to burn us out, but can we taper it off? Or knowing that towards the end of the week, I get more tired. I front load Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Those are my days that I am going to get shit done. And then allow myself to do quieter parts of projects on Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. This is what comes of, well, in my case, this is what comes with life experience kind of kicking you in the butt. Um, mental health stuff, trampling you, and having the ability to, and no, I'm not using that word. Having the, nope, still don't want to use that word. I'm searching for a word here, and I really don't like the first 2 that my brain offered. Having the opportunity, we're going to go with opportunity, having the opportunity to come back from that and say, okay, let's learn, let's apply, and let's move forward. Because I am fortunate to have that opportunity on several levels, several different chapters of opportunity, and I'm going to try not to squander it, okay? Without putting too much pressure on myself. It's like figuring out, oh, here's the thing. Hey, we're going to go back to hot water again. Everybody's got like their perfect temperature range. And if you've got, whether you have a 2-knob system where you're opening the cold and opening the hot, and you're finding that perfect level of how much of each to add, or if you've got the single dial and you're like, okay, it's somewhere over here, nope, too hot, too cold, and you're finding that infinitesimal point at which the mix is just that perfect. That's what I'm looking for right now. But it's like I have x-ray goggles, not x-ray goggles, it's like I have magnifying glasses on, and I can see the smaller things. I have zoomed in. There we go. I have zeroed in, I have zoomed in. I am able to see those delineations a little bit better now. And I'm going to try my best to use that going forward to my advantage, and hopefully my family's advantage, and whatever other advantages I can afford anyone else. So that's me. How are you? By the time you see this, it will be 2023. So happy New Year. If you've watched this far, good on you. Thank you so much. If you've watched any of this past year's videos, thank you so much. Whether it was a moment, a week, a month, whatever you watched, thank you. If you're just now finding this, and you're like, oh, hey, maybe I'll follow this person next year. Hey, guess what? I've already picked out well, mostly I had to get to do some hashtag research, but I've already picked out the theme for next year, and it's going to be way less pretentious than the whole Brilliance thing was. Good idea. Maybe the wrong year to try and implement it, but hey, it kept us moving forward, right? And yeah, so make sure to come back next week and the week after that and the week after that. I'm gonna be putting up just more of everything. Oh, whether you make resolutions, intentions, or eschew all of that, whether you consider New Year's Day, or the changing of the calendars to be a big deal or just another day, I wish you a wonderful year ahead. 2022 was not kind to all of us. 2022 sucked in a lot of ways, just like 2021 sucked in a lot of ways. I think, I don't know. I mean, I hesitate to say, but I mean, we are clearly in one of those, I don't know, are we in a downward spiral? Are things just kind of piling up until something breaks? Maybe. I try not to get sucked down into that too much because it would be really easy to feel defeated by that. But let's acknowledge the negative. It happened. And if you're watching this, then that means you made it through. And you might still be dealing with stuff. But I want you to have a better next year. I want it for you. It changes nothing for me if you have an amazing year. It changes nothing for me if you have a horrible year, but I'd much rather you have an amazing year. And if you shoot for amazing and you just get good, well, hell, a good year's a good year. And if some shitty things happen, you know, that sucks. You know what you can do, though? You can come talk to me about it. And I don't mean just here on YouTube. I have a Discord server. If you check down in the information below, I have started a Discord server. That way we can chat and we can kind of help each other through all the stuff that's going on. Yeah, so click on that link. And if it doesn't work, let me know. But yeah, and then you can join me. The server is called the Big Pink House. And maybe I'll talk about that more next week. Because this video is getting really, really long. But yeah, you can talk to me there. We can help each other through. We can at least listen to each other. And we can remind each other that, this is just a moment. And it may be a long moment, but it's a moment in time. It's not forever. It's not our new reality, So take care of yourselves. As always, do something creative just for you. I still think, and I'm going to be doubling down on the fact that creativity improves our lives, even when we don't think we're being quote unquote creative. We're going to work on dispelling a lot of those myths. Continuing to. Yeah, I'm definitely getting back to the whole better living through creativity idea. Along with this, doing creative things for our mental health, for our physical health, for the world around us. Be kind, mostly to yourself, but also to the others around you. It really does cost us nothing to be kind. And I think that's something that the world could definitely use is kindness, consideration. You don't have to love everybody. You can not like people. It's okay. We're allowed. We're allowed to not like things or people or situations or circumstances, but we can still be kind and considerate because everybody's going through something, And I don't know what you're going through. You don't know everything that I'm going through because while I talk about a lot of it here, I don't talk about everything. I don't want to scare you. But we all have those things that we're going through that we don't tell anybody about. And that's okay. You don't have to. Although, if they're really bogging you down and you have the ability, find somebody, a professional somebody to talk to, or find a support group that's led by a professional or someone who knows how to help navigate those things. Because, and this is a big deal for next year for me, community is where it's at. We are not islands. We may feel alone a lot of the time, but we are not islands. We have to know who's around us. We have to pull together at times with our community. And that's what's going to get us through. I am 100% sure of that. So, if if you're part of my community, you're part of my community if you're watching this. Simple as that. How active you want to be in it, that's up to you. No pressure. But if you want to be more active, like I said, check out the Discord link in the box below. That said, take care of yourselves. I hope you've had a safe and happy New Year's Eve. Let's go into 2023 cautious but optimistic. It's possible to be both. And, be good to you. And I'll see you next week. I'll see you next year.